question from somebody.
Yes, this is from Patty. She said, please help me understand some of the harsh comments like you're talking about in the Old Testament. But she is talking about Leviticus 24:16. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord should be put to death.
In Leviticus 24:16, the context there is the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, and they had lived 400 years as slaves. And as slaves, a slave would be put to death for very minor infractions. And so this is setting up a social structure in which they're trying to lead people out of this cruel mindset of devaluing anything to a healthier mindset. That's why God set up an eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, limb for limb, life for life, rather than simply life. So why would they have such a harsh punishment here? Well, true story. In the 1990s, after the Desert Storm, Desert Shield takeover of Iraq, the U.S. government set up a caretaker government there in Iraq. And during that time, NPR reported on a true story about how an Iraqi grocery store was firebombed, and the owner of the store and the 3 employees that worked there were killed in the firebomb. And the reason for this was a local mullah, a Islamic cleric, put out a fatwa, which is a edict or order that celery was not to be displayed in the produce section next to tomatoes. And the reason for this was, in their mindset, that could look like an erect male. So this was an offense to their way of thinking. Unfortunately, the grocer put out celery next to tomatoes, and therefore the store was firebombed and the people were killed. In other words, they received the death penalty. Now, if you are the governor of Iraq, in your judgment as an American, which is worse, celery next to tomatoes or driving drunk? Well, clearly driving drunk is worse. If you want the local people to take driving drunk seriously, and they think that celery stalks and tomatoes are worth the death penalty, what penalty will you have to give driving drunk? If you just give it a fine, 10 days in jail, will they take it seriously when celery stalks and tomatoes are a death penalty? No, if you want them to take it seriously, you have to give them a death penalty. That's what you're dealing with in Leviticus. The mindsets of the people would only take a death penalty seriously. Anything else was trivial to them. And so God met them where they were and communicated a language they would understand with the goal of leading them away from that to a higher reality. And if you read the rest of what was written in the first 5 books, you will find the message of love. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Love your enemies.
Love your enemies. It's all there. But this is where he had to meet them. So that's how we understand it.